Men in Hollywood have been losing weight really fast. At first, it looked like simple lifestyle changes, but behind the dramatic transformations, reports of serious side effects started surfacing. Then came the lawsuits, thousands of them, tied to treatments many celebrities quietly began using. Fans noticed the changes, doctors began speaking out, and the pattern became impossible to ignore. But nothing prepared people for what the celebrity at #1 revealed. When that story came out, it literally broke the internet. Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen's weight loss story felt different from many others because he didn't try to hide anything. As the host of Watch What Happens Live, Andy is known for asking celebrities some of the most personal questions on television. He's often pushed guests to talk openly about cosmetic procedures, beauty trends, and whether they've used treatments like Ozempic. That's why people paid attention when Andy decided to address his own experience in 2025. He admitted that he had spent part of the summer using a low dose of GLP-1 medication and ended up losing about 25 pounds. Instead of avoiding the subject, he spoke about it directly. Andy explained that the treatment helped shift how he thought about food and drinking. For him, it wasn't just about losing weight, it was about changing the constant mental focus on eating that many people deal with. He also made an important point during interviews. Andy acknowledged that his situation is very different from the average person's. With access to doctors, nutrition experts, and medical guidance, he can approach these treatments with a level of support most people don't have. What made the moment especially interesting is that Andy has spent years analyzing celebrity culture. He understands how quickly trends spread in Hollywood. Yet even with all that awareness, he admitted that he still felt the pressure to try it himself, which says a lot about how powerful these trends have become. Fat Joe. Fat Joe's weight loss story caught a lot of attention because of just how dramatic the change was. The hip-hop artist once weighed more than 400 pounds, and his larger build was something fans had always associated with his public image. But behind the scenes, that weight was becoming a serious concern for his health. Over time, Fat Joe made changes that eventually led to a staggering 200-pound weight loss. By late 2024, the transformation was impossible to miss. His appearance looked completely different from the rapper many fans remembered from earlier in his career. What made his story especially interesting was how direct he was about it. Fat Joe openly admitted that medication played a role in helping him keep the weight off. In an industry where many celebrities avoid discussing pharmaceutical help, his honesty stood out. At the same time, some of the details he shared about his eating habits raised eyebrows among wellness professionals. Fat Joe described eating extremely small portions, sometimes talking about amounts that sounded very restrictive. Experts pointed out that without medical supervision, copying that kind of eating pattern could be risky for everyday people. Fans also noticed how quickly his face had changed as the weight came off. Rapid weight loss can alter facial features, making the transformation even more noticeable. Despite the concerns, many people believe the changes likely improved his long-term health. Losing that amount of weight significantly reduces risks linked to heart disease and other serious conditions. Jack Black. Jack Black has always been one of those rare Hollywood personalities who seemed completely comfortable being himself. Whether it was his performances in School of Rock, his music with Tenacious D, or his chaotic energy in interviews, Jack built a reputation around joy, humor, and authenticity rather than fitting a traditional Hollywood image. That's why fans were surprised when he began appearing noticeably slimmer during 2024 and 2025. Reports suggested he had dropped roughly 30 pounds, and people quickly started noticing the difference in his face and overall appearance. Jack himself explained the change in a lighthearted way. In social media videos, he talked about working out more and trying to stay in shape alongside co-star Dwayne Johnson for upcoming Jumanji projects. On the surface, that explanation sounded perfectly reasonable. Actors often adjust their training routines depending on the roles they're preparing for. Still, the shift sparked conversation among fans who had followed Jack's career for decades. His rounder face and bigger build had always been part of the charm that made him so relatable. For some people, seeing that change felt symbolic. Jack Black was one of the few major stars who never seemed interested in conforming to Hollywood's usual expectations about appearance. So when he started looking leaner, it raised a bigger question. If someone who built his identity around rejecting those standards now feels the need to change, it shows just how powerful those industry pressures can be. Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's story highlights just how relentless the spotlight can be when it comes to celebrity appearance. For years, Jonah has dealt with public commentary about his body from every direction. Whether he's heavier or noticeably slimmer, people constantly analyze how he looks instead of focusing on his work. Recently, photos from a movie set began circulating online, showing Jonah looking significantly thinner than before. The reaction was immediate. Social media filled with questions about whether he was okay and what might have caused such a visible change. Instead of celebrating his projects, the conversation once again centered entirely on his body. What makes this especially frustrating is that Jonah has already spoken openly about how harmful that kind of attention can be. He's shared that the constant focus on his appearance affected him deeply, leading him to seek therapy and work on protecting his mental health. Over time, Jonah tried to draw clear boundaries. He even asked fans and media outlets to stop commenting on his body altogether, regardless of whether the remarks were supportive or critical. Unfortunately, the reality of celebrity culture makes that request difficult to honor. Each time Jonah's appearance changes, the discussion returns, creating another wave of speculation and judgment. For many fans, the saddest part is that Jonah seems caught in a cycle he didn't create. Even as he works on his own well-being, the public conversation continues to revolve around his body rather than his achievements. Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams' story is the one that made this entire conversation feel much more serious. Robbie has spent years being honest about his relationship with body image. Despite a hugely successful career, he's often spoken about how intense the pressure can be when your job involves standing on stage in front of thousands of people every night. When Robbie started using pharmaceutical treatments to help with weight loss, it didn't immediately raise alarms. Many celebrities have turned to similar options, and the weight came off fairly quickly. Fans noticed he looked slimmer, but at first it seemed like just another Hollywood transformation. Then in late 2025, Robbie shared something that caught a lot of people off guard. In an interview with The Times, he revealed he had been experiencing problems with his vision. While performing, he said he sometimes couldn't clearly see the faces of the audience anymore. Instead, he described them as blurry shapes or blobs. Robbie also mentioned that he had seen studies raising questions about potential vision-related concerns linked to certain treatments. While nothing had been officially confirmed, the possibility alone was enough to spark widespread discussion. What made the situation even more complicated was what happened afterward. At a major awards event, Robbie joked that he had actually increased his treatment use before attending. For many observers, that moment showed how powerful the pressure to stay thin can be, even when the risks might be serious. Scott Disick. Scott Disick's experience quickly became one of the most talked about situations connected to this trend. The first sign that something was happening appeared during an episode of The Kardashians. viewers noticed boxes of weight loss medication sitting in Scott's refrigerator, which immediately caught the attention of fans online. When Khloe Kardashian pointed it out, Scott responded casually and said he wasn't embarrassed about it. At first, the moment seemed harmless, but as time went on, reports suggested that Scott's relationship with food had become increasingly complicated. Sources close to him described cycles where he would eat large amounts of certain foods and then shift to barely eating at all. When pharmaceutical treatments were added to the mix, it appeared to create an even more unpredictable situation. The moment that truly raised concern came from within Scott's own family. According to reports, his teenage son Mason became worried about his father's health decisions and spoke up about it. For many observers, that detail stood out. When a child begins expressing concern about a parent's habits, it suggests that the situation may be more serious than it appears publicly. Photos from that period showed Scott looking dramatically different within a relatively short time. The change seemed sudden rather than gradual, which added to the speculation. By early 2026, reports suggested Scott had begun working with professionals to stabilize his approach to health. His story serves as a reminder that these trends can affect not only celebrities themselves, but the people closest to them as well. Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell has always been someone who pays close attention to his appearance. Over the years, the music and television executive has openly experimented with different ways to stay looking youthful, from cosmetic treatments to strict diet changes. But recently, fans have started noticing a transformation that feels more dramatic than anything before. In recent appearances, Simon looks noticeably slimmer than he did in the past. At the same time, observers have pointed out an unusual contrast between his leaner frame and the fuller look of his face, something many people believe comes from aesthetic procedures he has undergone over the years. According to various reports, Simon may have tried several different wellness approaches at once, possibly including pharmaceutical weight loss treatments alongside other methods. The result is a transformation that has left fans both surprised and concerned. There have also been moments when Simon appeared to struggle physically on set, with reports suggesting he occasionally had to step away during filming because of health-related issues. While the details remain private, it led some people to wonder whether the intense effort to maintain a certain look might come with its own costs. Simon has even admitted in interviews that he constantly thinks about food and restriction. He once mentioned that watching his son eat can make him reflect on his own limitations. For someone who has already achieved enormous success, the ongoing pressure to keep improving his appearance highlights just how relentless Hollywood standards can be. Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan's experience became one of the most unusual stories connected to these treatments. The comedian began talking publicly about trying a weight loss medication in 2023, explaining that it helped reduce his appetite. Like many people, he believed the treatment would make it easier to eat less and manage his weight. For a while, it seemed like everything was going according to plan. Tracy mentioned that the medication made him feel full more quickly, which is exactly how these treatments are supposed to work. But then he shared a surprising update during an appearance on The Tonight Show in early 2024. Instead of losing weight, Tracy said he had gained around 40 pounds. He laughed while explaining it, joking that he simply figured out how to out-eat the medication. While the audience treated it as a funny moment, the story revealed something important about how these treatments actually function. They work by reducing feelings of hunger, but they don't automatically change the reasons why people eat. If someone eats because of stress, emotional habits, or routines developed over years, medication alone may not solve that problem. Tracy's story highlighted that reality in a way that many polished success stories don't. His experience showed that even when a treatment works exactly as designed, it can still fall short if the deeper relationship with food remains unchanged. In the end, these transformations aren't just about appearance. They show the pressure, expectations, and difficult decisions celebrities face in an industry obsessed with image. Some stories are inspiring, others raise real concerns, but all of them reveal how complicated these trends can be. If you found this breakdown interesting, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more deep dives into Hollywood's biggest stories.